This is the Grow Your Clinic podcast from Clinic Mastery. We help progressive health professionals to lead inspired teams, transform client experiences, and build clinics for good. Now, it's time to grow your clinic.
Welcome to the Grow Your Clinic podcast. My name is Ben Lynch. We're going to do a 3-part series on using scripting within your practice. Now, you can use scripting for your admin and your practitioners. In fact, I suggest you use it for both. And you take some time to develop scripting. In this 3-part series, the first episode here today, what we're going to discuss is why would we consider using scripting? I want to shed some light on the benefits and why it's important to make sure you've got some systemized communication. In episode 2, we're going to go through how to do it successfully, because I know plenty of clinic owners who have tried it and it hasn't worked. And so I want to uncover the structure for you to implement it sustainably. In the 3rd episode, what we're going to cover are some of the things that you can specifically do to make sure that your team develop their skills in delivering scripts really quickly. We're going to go into what specifically can be done. So let's dive into why the heck would we even consider using scripting? A lot of the time people say to me, Ben, it's a little bit robotic, or isn't it too prescriptive? There's not enough flexibility for it to be personalized. Yes, there is, when done correctly. I just want to bring to your attention, when Brad Pitt walks onto a movie set, no matter how good he might be at his craft, he has a script, because there's a story to be told to take you on a journey through that particular movie. Just like in practice, there's a journey that we're taking a patient on. And to be able to use the right words in the right way to educate and empower a client, we can really do that quite well with the priming and reinforcement of some consistent messages throughout their journey. So there are a couple of reasons why I find this really important, and you might want to jot some of these down, because when it comes time for you to introduce and implement this with your team, there's a lot of resistance that can happen if we don't actually talk about why we're using it in the first place. Number one, I find that scripting enables those experienced practitioners on the team, and maybe that's just you at this stage, or maybe you are the most experienced practitioner. It allows you to distill down the experience into the years of your practitioners, to be able to capture some of the education or language that you've used so successfully to educate your clients, to enroll them into the care plan, and ultimately retain them along that care plan so that they get the best possible outcome. There are metaphors and analogies that you might use, or ways of positioning knowledge so that a client doesn't feel overwhelmed or confused. You've found some successful ways to do it. So I find you can take that experience from a practitioner or group of practitioners and distill it down, especially for those younger developing practitioners. You get to put the experience in the years. That leads me to point 2. It allows you and your team to deliver consistency. We each might practice a little bit differently. However, I'm sure in your clinic, there's a philosophy or an approach, a model that you prefer or favor that you found really works, even if it's just a system and structure of how you communicate with clients, how you deliver your consults. There are multiple layers, but what I find with scripting is that it allows consistency, so that if a patient, for whatever reason, needs to see someone else on your team, they are going to get a consistent and high quality service. They're going to get consistent messages between the team. Perhaps someone's gone on leave. Perhaps they're sick for the day. Perhaps they've actually moved on from your clinic. But there's a consistent message that's reinforced, or almost a language. You know how we speak around here. That leads me to point 3, which is around the best care experience for a patient. I'm sure you've had experiences, whether it be in retail, maybe you've taken a flight, gone out for dinner, somewhere, you've been somewhere, and the service is really cruddy, and they're just not telling you everything, or it seems like things are happening in the background, but you're uncertain because they haven't taken the time to actually communicate with you. Imagine being on the front foot and everyone speaking the same language, everyone reinforcing one another. How good would a patient feel? They'd feel like everyone is on the same page, and scripting allows you to do that. As we flow on from consistency, one of the things that we find really powerful is what we call the transfer of trust. If a patient is going to see another person on your team, or even if they're interacting between an admin team and a practitioner team, there's a trust that's developed, a rapport that's developed with a patient. And through your communication, scripting or framework of your communication, you're able to make that client feel like they can trust everyone who's involved because you've positioned other people, products, or services in a way that actually puts them at the center of the care. That then allows you really to be able to retain, continue to engage, and enroll the patient in the recommendations that you or the team provide because of the consistency of the messages, whether that's around consistency of doing exercises or changing home routines or habits. Maybe it's consistency about showing up to appointments on time or booking in advance. Whatever it may be, we've got an opportunity to repeat and reinforce key messages that will be powerful in that client's rehabilitation or transformation in their health. That is one of the key distinctions that leads me on to dripping your information over time. I think and hear a lot of health professionals have some incredible knowledge that they share with their clients. Unfortunately, what I hear though is they kind of dump it all on them in the first visit. Using a script or looking, again, if you want to use a different language, looking at your communication framework, what you're able to do is say, hey, does the patient need to know all of this right at the start? Or could we space it out in a couple of days or in a couple of weeks or in a couple of months? Either in person at their appointments, whether it's through text messages or emails or push notifications, however you choose to do that, could we actually drip this information out to them and look at the communication framework? Because I find a lot of people get overwhelmed very early on in their care and they don't retain as much as you think they would or that you hope they should. And finally, what I see scripts allow us to do is run on time. There's a whole appointment structure that you can go into, and that's very important. But I find when your messages are delivered in a succinct manner, in a powerful manner, in a manner that resonates with the client and is engineered or constructed with your patient at the center of it, all of a sudden, you don't have to keep waffling. Whether you do that or you've got someone on your team who just continues to go a little bit more and fill in the blanks with perhaps some knowledge that's not really required, scripting helps you run on time. So I find these are some powerful reasons as to why we use scripting or a communication framework for your practitioners, for your clients, and really for your clinic to stand out and deliver a absolutely quality service that leads to an amazing client experience. So if you have tried scripting before, please, I challenge you to try it again as we work through this framework. If you've never tried it or had some concerns or barriers around it, I'd invite you to trial it. Do it in your own way, run it through your own filter, but scripts can be incredibly powerful for your clinic and your clients. We'll see you on the next episode where we uncover the structure of how to implement it successfully.
Thanks for tuning in to the Grow Your Clinic podcast. To find out more about past episodes or how we can help you, head to www.clinicmastery.com/podcast And please remember to rate and review us on your podcast player of choice. See you on the next episode.